seems to always be at the top of the rankings. They have won countless awards. It really did make my skin look like porcelain, like so smooth. I'm not exactly comfortable with the amount they recommend to apply. Minasan konnichiwa, this is Tina and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the ELIXIR Day Care Revolution series. If that sounds like your thing, then please go ahead and channel登録 しちゃってください. It is finally here, you guys. My review for probably one of the most popular makeup bases in Japan, the ELIXIR Day Care Revolution series. In Japanese, it's actually called ELIXIR, and they are a sub-brand of Shiseido. They do generally focus on skincare and are pretty well known for their basics like toner and emulsion too, although their Day Care Revolution series seems to always be at the top of the rankings. They have won countless awards, so I thought in today's video I'll break down and review all 6 of their products in this range. First things first, what exactly is it? In Japanese, they do refer to it often as a otonae no UV 乳液, which translates to a anti-aging UV emulsion. So basically a lightweight lotion type moisturizer that also has sun protection and works well as a makeup primer. It does also focus on anti-aging benefits, and whenever they market it, they do tend to use a older or more mature model for like the product as well, but I have seen people of all ages use it and enjoy it. Product variation. Although there are 6 products in total, which seems very overwhelming, there's actually only 3 product lines or categories. First, we have the Day Care Revolution, which yes, they all are called Day Care Revolution and the names are really similar, but this is the one that is in the gold packaging and you can think of it as the standard baseline range. It comes in 2 SPF ratings, SPF 35 with PA4+, and then SPF 50+ with PA4+. This one focuses on keeping your skin firm, supple, and nourished, and it is considered to be the most moisturizing out of the 3 types. It retails for 3,410 yen for 35 grams. Next, we have the Day Care Revolution Brightening Series, which is in this, let's just say like rose gold packaging. This one also has 2 SPF ratings, the SPF 35 PA4+ and SPF 50+ PA4+. This one is similar to the standard range, but does lean focus to brightening the skin while you're wearing it too. It includes a brightening ingredient called 4-MSK, which stands for potassium 4-methoxysalicylate. Apparently it is Shiseido's signature brightening ingredient and does help to prevent dark spots and hyperpigmentation to help with evening out and brightening that skin tone over time. This one does retail a little bit more at 3,740 Japanese yen for the same amount, 35 grams of product. Lastly, we have the Day Care Revolution Tone-up range. The Tone-up ones contain colored pigments to essentially color correct your skin and make your skin instantly seem brighter and more even. These both have a sun protection factor of SPF 50+ and PA4+. There is no alternate version. The pink one is the most popular product out of all 6. This is the one that has won the most awards. This one does help to add a healthy rosy glow to the skin. It helps to brighten dull looking skin with that subtle pink tint. It gives the skin more of like a radiant appearance. And then the beige was just released earlier this year. This one does help to even out skin tone and even cover some of that redness and provides a very light but natural color correction. The tone-up ones are considered to be the least moisturizing of the lot just because it does have those makeup properties, and it retails for 3,410 Japanese yen for 35 grams. These 4 are the same price, and then the brightening ones are slightly more expensive by 300 yen, probably because of that extra brightening ingredient. All 6 products do have the same skincare base that includes glycerin, butylene glycol, collagen, and hyaluronic acid to help hydrate and moisturize the skin. All of them do also include alcohol and fragrance, so obviously something to consider if you are sensitive to those, but it did not particularly bother me personally. How exactly do you use this product? So the brand does market it as a jitan product, which basically translates to time saving. You're supposed to cleanse your face in the morning, put on toner, and then use this product. You can skip straight from toner to this this because it is supposed to act like a moisturizer, sun protection, and makeup primer in one. I did test it this way and it definitely can work, although I do have dry skin. I felt like throughout the day my skin definitely didn't feel well moisturized and it lacked that luster, if you get what I mean. After doing some of my own research, they did say you can definitely use your other skincare products, and to give it a good go and like a proper review, I did kind of adjust my skincare routine to make it work for my drier skin. So I'll show you guys my routine later when I'm actually applying it. The amount of product to use is actually indicated on the tube as well as the box, which does make it easier for us. The non-tinted ones say to use about a 1 yen sized blob. When I measured it, it was maybe just under a 1/4 teaspoon. And then the tinted versions say to use about a 1 centimeter diameter blob, which obviously is not a significant amount of product when it comes to sun protection. We're going to move on to user experience, which is obviously the most important part of this review. I did my absolute best to try to test them in the same environments. As I mentioned earlier, due to my dry skin, I did adjust the routine from what they suggested. I cleansed like normal, and then I used a watery toner and then toner pads just to help retain that hydration while I got set up to film. I used a hydrating serum and then a light layer of a emulsion, which is a lightweight lotion type moisturizer that is most common in Japan. I then applied the recommended amount per product and applied my makeup as usual. Like I try to do it as similarly as possible to what I do normally so I can kind of test it compared to other products. I applied my BB cream as well as concealer and powder for my base makeup, and then I applied the rest of like my eye makeup and etc. And then to finish off, I did use a mist, and I thought it would be the perfect occasion to use my ELIXIR mist because I assume they're supposed to go together. I tried to mimic my usual routine as much as possible, just use this as my sun protection and makeup primer. So I will be talking about each line together. So first, the ELIXIR Day Care Revolution. First things first, let's take a look at the texture. So the SPF 30 is definitely a little bit thicker and has more of a cream or yellow tinted appearance to it. And then the SPF 50 is definitely more fluidy and watery in texture. In terms of application, I do feel like they blended out pretty much the same. I actually felt like the SPF 50 felt more moisturizing when I initially applied it. Like it has a bit more of that dewy glowy finish, and my skin looked a bit more plump. In the process of applying makeup, overall no massive issues. The SPF 35 did have a small amount of peeling around the eye area when I was applying my powder, but honestly I feel like these can be one-off instances. It's very hard to tell. And then in terms of the makeup wear throughout the day, although I felt like the SPF 50 was more moisturizing initially, I felt like the SPF 35 actually retained moisture better throughout the day, which the 35 is supposed to be like slightly more moisturizing. The 35 did bring out a bit more of the texture in my pores, like on my cheek area throughout the day, whereas the 50 seemed to dry out that chin and mouth area a little bit more, and the wear started to happen near the nose and stuff, which generally all makeup does wear some around the nose throughout the day. And granted, I did not do any touch-ups. Usually, obviously, I feel like most of us do touch up our makeup maybe like once throughout the day, but I tried to not touch it just so I can get like a clear review of all products. Overall, I would say there is not a huge difference between the 35 and 50. They both felt like a comfortable lotion type sunscreen to wear throughout the day. I would recommend it for those who want as much moisture as possible with minimal steps. Followed by the ELIXIR Day Care Revolution Brightening Range. Honestly, I felt like this was mostly the same as the regular line. Again, we have the SPF 35 and 50 variants. The texture, once again, the 35 is thicker and has more of a creamy color to it, and the 50 is more fluidy and lightweight in texture. Pretty much the exact same feel as the regular lines. During initial application, I could not really tell you the difference between between the two. They're both blended out generally the same. Compared to the regular line, the brightening ones might have been slightly less moisturizing, but not by a lot. And then during makeup application, once again, about the same, smooth, no issues, just applied like normal. Now, after a full day of wear, I must say I felt the dryness a little bit more. It felt like it didn't retain that moisture quite as much as the regular line. Once again, it was mostly in the chin and mouth area, like these creases started kind of showing up a bit more, and then around the nose started getting quite patchy too. This one I believe is recommended more for those people who are like, well, if I'm going to wear this product every day anyways, I might as well get those brightening benefits. Brightening products are quite popular in Japan, so I think it is for people who don't have that dedicated step in their regular skincare routine but still want to have those benefits even with minimal toner and this steps. Lastly, we have the ELIXIR Day Care Revolution Tone-up products. As mentioned earlier, these are both SPF 50 and there is no alternative 35 version. Appearance-wise, obviously one of them is tinted pink and the other is tinted beige. The pink for this is quite cool toned, I must say, and the beige is definitely more warm leaning. I actually compared the two to the Dalba Pink Tone-up SPF base because that is my absolute favorite. I've been using it for years and years, and I feel like the Dalba sits right in between the two. Like it is a mixture of these two. The pink definitely leans quite cool toned in my opinion. The texture is significantly thicker compared to the non-tinted versions. They don't run down your hand or anything, and it does take a little bit more effort in spreading it evenly across the skin. In terms of how it looks on the skin, I would say the pink is definitely more of an intense tone up effect, whereas the beige is more of a natural tone up. I actually found it looked almost identical to my skin tone, but brighter and more even. I might actually prefer the look of the beige on my skin. I feel like you could get away with wearing just that if you want just a little bit of coverage, a little bit of that evening out of the skin tone. Even if you don't wear makeup on top, I feel like it looks quite natural, whereas the pink definitely does look a bit more obvious in terms of you are wearing something tinted on your skin. And then obviously this is on my skin tone, so if you do have more deeper skin tones, I could imagine that it might show up definitely more obviously on the skin. In terms of makeup application, these ones definitely feel more like a primer compared to the non-tinted ones. The tone-up effects of the pink are seen more through the BB cream compared to the beige, but everything else sat on top of the skin pretty well. After a full day of wear is when you see a significant difference between the tone-up ones versus the non-tinted ones. The non-tinted ones are tested for 8 hours of makeup wear, whereas the tinted ones say they last up to 12 hours of makeup wear, which I must say I didn't wear for that long, but I feel like the tone-up ones are definitely better for makeup longevity. My skin looked smoother, especially in the larger areas of skin like my cheeks and forehead, and it did help to hold on to the makeup better compared to the non-tinted versions. I personally did still feel the dryness towards the lower third of my face, the chin and mouth area. Maybe that is just me because it happened with all of them, and I feel like it's a little harder to get like an even coverage of, say, like a hydrating mist on that area. I would personally recommend the pink one for those people who do regularly wear makeup and want that smooth, flawless looking base, and the beige one for those who want a natural color correcting SPF with a bit of a tint that you can wear alone or underneath makeup. Now for the conclusion, which is very much my personal opinion, but I feel like the whole range has been produced very specifically for the target market that is Japan. That time-saving factor as well as having those makeup properties all in one is something that is sought after a lot in Japan. Also, that semi-matte finish is more preference compared to like super glowy, dewy finish that is popular in, say, K-beauty. And for those of us who are used to more of a traditional sunscreen, it's probably not ideal either, because the product has a very big learning curve. When it works really well, but to figure out what works takes a really long time. How many products you should wear underneath, what products you should wear underneath, how much you should apply, how you should apply it, what products to wear on top. For most people, that is just going to be a hassle, especially when it's marketed as something that is time-saving. It should not be that hard to figure out how it works. Honestly, I think I figured out a pretty golden routine when I was filming the products for this video, and I thought especially the tone-up ones looked really good. Like, it really did make my skin look like porcelain, like so smooth and just well put together, poreless and all of that. But other times I had tried to use the product, it peeled all the time, it did not apply evenly, it dries out very quickly, so you have to work with it quick. If I wore too little or too much skincare, it would just crumble on the face. Like, it was not something that I could rely on every day to work for me guaranteed, which, as someone who tests a lot of skincare and changes their skincare fairly often, it's just too much of a risk trying to figure out this product every time I'm going to wear makeup. Also, to use as your sole sunscreen, I'm not exactly comfortable with the amount they recommend to apply. The non-tinted ones, I would say generally okay. I feel like I ended up squeezing out a little extra and it definitely blended out fine. Whereas the tinted ones, it is not a lot of product to be the one SPF product you're wearing that day, because once again, if you apply too much, it is not going to apply evenly. But should we be sacrificing sun protection just for something to look good? You know, I also do find it a little pointless to have two different SPF ratings in a range. They're not different enough to separate them. Just make them all SPF 50. Personally, for my dry skin, I would prefer to do a foolproof routine, wear a moisturizing regular sunscreen on top, and then use the tone-up ones sparingly on top for that extra layer of sun protection and that primer effect. Maybe if you live in a hotter, more humid climate, it might be more beneficial, but I definitely think the full series has been specifically produced for the climates of Japan. Honestly, I think I'll just use the non-tinted ones as regular sunscreens and the tone-up ones on top of my regular sunscreens, or maybe I'll just pass them on to my mom because I think she likes them. Again, they are not a bad product. You just have to be patient and be willing to work with it. But honestly, a little hyped up, especially for how much they cost to how much product you get. Well, for those who had waited for that review, I really hope I did you justice. I tried to break them down as detailed as possible. If you do want to check out some other full brand or series reviews of kbeauty products, I will leave a couple here for you to check out. I definitely want to try to do these a little bit more often. So if you have specific product ranges that you want me to review, please leave them in a comment below and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Mwah!